Before signing up for competitive Jerkmate, I had no idea on just what I was getting myself into. I had seen people comment on leaving the website because of too many sweats, and others not being fans of Jerkmate Premium or the new Jerkmate Battle Pass, which many see as pay to win. But I didn't care about all of that. I just wanted to see that if someone coming in as a new Gooner in 2025 could still have a fun and enjoyable climb through the Jerkmate ranking system. And let me tell you, they were not joking when they said that this game is full of sweats. More than in any other game I've come across. But we'll get to that. After making an account and logging in, you'll be introduced to the Jerkmate ranking system. Including being unranked, there are 10 individual ranks to climb through. These include Unranked, Bronze Beater, Silver Stroker, Golden Gooner, Platinum Puller, Emerald Edger, Diamond Diddler, Grandmaster Baiter, Challenger Kuma, reserved for the top 1000, and finally, the ultimate rank, Notorious Nutter, a title only bestowed upon the world's top 100 Gooners. If I wanted to achieve the title of World's Best Gooner and claim the Notorious Nutter badge for myself, I would first have to goon tooth and nail through the 9 other ranks before it, starting with my current rank, Unranked. So with that, I queued up for my first ranked Jerkmate match, not knowing what to expect. And let me tell you, nothing could have prepared me for what was to come. Okay, so I just finished my first comp match of Jerkmate, and there's a fair bit to break down here, so pay close attention. After 36 minutes of some of the most intense gooning I'd ever done, I was beaten by George Floyd President, who held the rank of Bronze Beater. As someone looking to stroke his way to Notorious Nutter, losing to a lowly Bronze Beater is a little demotivating, I won't lie. But whatever, it was my first match and I wasn't familiar yet with the game's mechanics. We learned from this loss. But before moving on to the next match, there's some Jerkmate terminology I have to quickly fill you in on. First is SPS, strokes per second. If Jerkmate were to come down to one singular, most important stat, it's this, your SPS. I finished that first match with a 1.98 SPS, falling just short of averaging 2 strokes per second. Meanwhile, my opponent, George Floyd President, finished with an SPS of 2.09, averaging just over 2 strokes per second. While other variables of course do come into play, through my time playing, it does seem like a lot of matches are simply decided by who's got the highest SPS. So what other variables can determine who wins a match of Jerkmate? Well, for that, let's take a look at game 2. About to go into my second Jerkmate comp match. I understand the game a little better from game 1 now, so we'll see how I do. At 35 minutes, this match was very close in length to my first match, and again, involved me beating my shit like there was no tomorrow. However, despite all that, I still took home another L, this time at the clammy hands of ASAP Girthy. But if we take a look at the stats, you can see that my improved SPS of 2.07 was indeed higher than his SPS of 2.02. So why did I lose? And this is where those other variables I spoke about come into play. This includes your WPG, RPG, and BPG. Whites per game, reds per game, and blanks per game. And I gotta be honest, I actually think this is some pretty well thought out goon design and promotes overall balance. I know some people over at r/compJerkmate feel like this game is biased towards SPS, but I'd have to disagree. With the way your SPS interacts with your WPG, RPG, and BPG, it incentivizes a balanced all-round gooning style. It forces you to think about your tempo and timing, whilst needing the stamina to not just keep up with, but ultimately outlast your opponent. If you want to reach the high ranks of Grandmaster Baiter and beyond, let alone Diamond Diddler, you're going to have to evolve all of your stats across the board. It's not enough to just have high SPS, you need to be shooting whites consistently, whilst minimizing the amount of blanks and reds you shoot. With me currently sitting at 2 losses with only 3 games remaining for my placements, I knew I had to lock in. And now, being more familiar with the mechanics of Jerkmate, I was feeling confident as I headed into game 3. 29-minute match length, 2.14 strokes per second, and 3 whites shot. This was my first and defining Jerkmate ranked win. I didn't quite understand what this feeling was, but I liked it. No gooning session had ever brought me that same rush of ecstasy that this Jerkmate win had just brought me. With my SPS improving once more, I could see that I was steadily getting better, and games 4 and 5 of my placement matches had proved just that, with me getting overwhelming victories in both of them. And so finally, with my placement matches being completed, it was time to see my official starting rank for my Jerkmate ranked climb. And bronze beater. Okay, I guess this was to be expected. I did have a rough start, but still turned it around to go 3 out of 5 wins, which I thought would at least place me into silver stroker, but whatever. I took a break, read some Blue Lock to recharge, and came back to Jerkmate, ready to climb out of bronze beater. And this was pretty easy actually. Only took another 3 matches, in which I won all of them pretty decisively, and even hit a new strokes per second personal best with an SPS of 2.21. Having now hit the rank of silver stroker, I truly felt like an unpolished gem within the gooning community. So far, I'd been steadily improving with each match of competitive Jerkmate I played. Things such as my pacing and rhythm, which I'd never even thought about before throughout my previous time spent gooning, were all things I was now actively paying very close attention to. Excited to keep polishing my skills and reach my next target rank of Golden Gooner, I hopped into another ranked match, but upon loading in, I saw this.
No. Wait.
This was, and still is, the greatest ranked Jerkmate defeat I've suffered. Even though I hit another personal best SPS of 2.26, that was nothing compared to fucking Bing Chilling's SPS of 7.94. I couldn't believe it. Was he hacking? Using some third-party software? Stroking almost 8 times per second should be humanly impossible. So I added him after the game and asked him if he's hacking. He said no, he's just smurfing. For those unaware, smurfing is when you make a new account on a game you're already pretty high level in so that you can dominate lower level lobbies and opponents. However, I said I didn't believe him and asked him for proof. So I added him on Discord and hopped onto a live video call with him, and it was at that moment my entire worldview was changed. What I thought was humanly impossible was proved to in fact be very possible right before my eyes. This is what stroking your shit 7.94 times a second looks like. I was mesmerized. Now fully convinced that he was in fact a Smurf, I asked him what rank his main was. Surely with an SPS so high, he was a Grandmaster Beta, or perhaps even a Challenger Kuma. Diamond Diddler. Don't get me wrong, still a very impressive rank, but read between the strokes. There are still 3 ranks filled with people of higher level gooning ability than this dude that was already beating his shit at a level that I thought was superhuman. Just how technically advanced were these gooners in those top ranks? What SPS numbers were they averaging? How many whites were they shooting per match? Were they even shooting reds anymore? Instead of demotivating me, this encounter with this hard-stuck Diamond Diddler Smurf filled my entire being with excitement. I'd been fortunate enough to so early on in my Jerkmate grind experience what true high-level competitive Jerkmate was all about, and I wanted to experience it again. But this time, not as a pathetic silver stroker getting humiliatingly outstroked, but as equals. But to do so, I knew I had to get better. I had to change. I would have to train both my mind and my body to be able to keep up with the geniuses that stood at the pinnacle of competitive Jerkmate. And so, it was time to get to work.
Hey there.
Are you for real?
I'm for real. Is that right? You could be right. You're so right!
For the next few days, I didn't play any Ranked Jerkmate. I trained my stamina, strengthened my wrist extensors, my wrist mobility, my explosiveness, my durability, my physical endurance, watched over countless VODs, and studied our biomechanics to great depth. I was ready to hop back onto the ghastly battlefield that is competitive Jerkmate. Win after win, goon after goon, my shots were like the United States landowners of the 1850s. All whites, baby! And soon enough, after 9 matches, with 8 of them being clean Jerkmate victory royales, and only losing once at the hands of Dr. Cocter, who was, surprise, surprise, another Smurf, I was finally blessed with that beautiful golden Gooner badge. It was beautiful. Now, I was happy to stop here. Climbing from unranked to golden Gooner seemed like a good place to call it for this experiment. I'd gotten myself a good understanding of the current player base and landscape of competitive Jerkmate in 2025, matching up against Gooners ranging from unranked all the way to Diamond Diddler. However, I realized there was one thing I'd forgotten to check out. One of the biggest things in Ranked Jerkmate, if I'm being honest, and that's ranked duos. Ranked Jerkmate, where you grab a friend and can compete together against another pair of fellow Gooners. While I've been playing as and personally prefer to be a solo stroker, many people love Jerkmate duos, and in fact, it's the only mode some people play. Even going so far as to have its own dedicated subreddit over at Jerkmate Duos, with the mode even having its own unique mechanics that nicely distinguishes itself from its solo's counterpart. One of those mechanics being where if you and your buddy both shoot reds simultaneously, the match is instantly ended, with it being counted as a loss for the both of you, therefore making your timing and shot distribution even more paramount in this mode. So I messaged my buddy Kane, who's also a golden Gooner, and we hopped into a ranked match of Jerkmate duos. As we queued up, we were both feeling pretty confident, especially with me being on an absolute gooning tear in my solo matches. And even upon seeing the platinum puller badge next to the name tags of both our opponents, our excitement didn't waver. In fact, it only made us hungrier. It was time to show these platinum pullers just what the golden Gooners were all about. Oh my god, fuck. Just got out of an 80-minute comp match against 2 guys that were both like 300 MMR higher rating than us. Oh, fuck, you know. I shot like 3 or 4 reds, even shot a blank at the end there. Fuck.
You okay?
Yeah, they were just really good. It was a close match, but close means nothing in the cruel landscape of competitive Jerkmate. Despite me putting up an all-time best SPS of 2.72 and shooting 6 whites, alongside Kane putting up an SPS of 2.81 and also shooting 6 whites, it just wasn't enough to beat the platinum pullers that stood before us. And even with them being just 1 rank higher than us, the gooning level is a difference of night and day. I want to draw your attention here. This is a rank distribution graph of how the number of players are spread across the various ranks within Jerkmate. As you can see, despite only being 3 of the 9 total ranks, these 3 ranks account for more than 60% of the total player base. Even with me being ranked at Golden Gooner, I'm still just within the average of the player base. It's every rank from Platinum Puller and onwards, which is where I believe the real game of Jerkmate truly begins. And so, that was my overall journey with Ranked Jerkmate in 2025. I think you can definitely still come into this game blind as a new gooner. Just don't expect your previous ways of gooning to get you very far here. You have to constantly adapt, evolve, and prove yourself with every single match you load into. And if you're not willing to put in the work, not just on Jerkmate, but outside of it as well, then don't expect any rank higher than Bronze Beater or Silver Stroker at best. And you may have noticed that I didn't speak about Jerkmate Premium nor the Jerkmate Battle Pass, and that's because they're honestly unnecessary, and even without purchasing these and being a free-to-play gooner, my experience with Ranked Jerkmate wasn't altered or hindered in the slightest. If you care about some useless crap like webcam borders or titles, then maybe you'll like the Battle Pass, but Jerkmate Premium, which promises faster load times and better matchmaking quality, really does just seem like a money grab. but not anywhere near as pay to win as some veteran Jerkmate players make it seem to be. Overall, yeah, I enjoyed my time playing Ranked Jerkmate. Will I continue playing and make that push for Platinum Puller rank? I don't know. You guys let me know if that's something you'd want to see, and I'll consider training for it again. But until then, guys, it's truly been a pleasure, and thank you guys so much for partaking on this journey with me. And never forget, whether you're a Bronze Beta or a Challenger Kuma, at the end of the day, we're all Gooners, and that will never change.
I never lose, so you know we never fucking